The stars were cold and distant, shining like tiny diamonds in the vast blackness of space. But inside the grand chamber of the Zentari Empire's High Council, the mood was warm and filled with laughter. Alien leaders from many worlds sat in their seats, their voices loud and mocking as they watched a strange message on their holoscreens. The message showed a warship, a strange, bulky ship with rough edges and large engines that looked slow. It was Earth's new secret weapon, the prototype warship they had been hiding for years. The Zentari thought it was a joke. "Look at this. This is what they call a warship?" laughed the Supreme Commander Vorak, his many eyes shining with amusement. "It's slow, ugly, and clearly no match for our fleet. The humans still play with old, weak machines." Around the room, others joined in the laughter. They had heard stories of Earth's weakness before. Humans were known to be stubborn, but weak. Compared to the powerful Zentari, their empire controlled hundreds of star systems, with thousands of warships that could destroy planets. The footage they had was stolen by spies. It showed Earth's warship moving clumsily during a test. The aliens believed this was the final, proof that Earth had no chance against their great empire. But far away on Earth, in a hidden command room deep under the surface, the mood was very different. Humans watched the same footage but did not laugh. They understood the power of their secret. Captain Sarah Malik stared at the screens. Her face was calm, but her eyes burned with quiet confidence. "They think this is just a prototype," she said. "But they don't know what it can do. We built the Oblivion for one reason: to end wars before they start." The warship, called Oblivion, was unlike any other ship in the galaxy. It was built with new technology Earth had kept secret for centuries. Its shield could block any weapon, and its weapons could destroy ships before they even knew what hit them. Earth had lost many battles in the past, and the cost was heavy. But this new warship was their hope, a silent promise that no one would ever threaten Earth again. Back in the Zentari chamber, the laughter slowly stopped when the final message appeared on the screen. It was a simple warning sent by Earth's military leaders. "Do not underestimate us," the message said. "This is your only warning." The council members stared at the words. No one expected such confidence from humans. The room grew quiet. Vorak broke the silence. "A warning? From a single, slow ship? How amusing." He gave the order to send one of their fastest war cruisers to intercept the Oblivion and prove once again that Earth was no threat. The war cruiser, named the Vortex, was the pride of the Zentari fleet. It was sleek, fast, and armed with the latest plasma cannons and missile systems. As the Vortex left the space station, its captain, Commander Relzar, smiled. He had no fear of the human ship. "We will teach these humans a lesson they will never forget," he told his crew. But as the Vortex moved through space toward Earth's warship, the crew began to notice strange signals on their scanners. The Oblivion was moving without any usual signs of activity. No radio messages, no engine sounds, nothing. It was as if the ship was a ghost. Relzar frowned. "Keep scanning. This is no time for mistakes." Suddenly, the Vortex's sensors showed something impossible. The Oblivion was surrounded by a faint blue shield that seemed to shift and change like water. "Commander, the shield is not like anything we have seen," reported the sensor officer. "It's absorbing our scans and weapons." Relzar's smile faded. "Prepare for battle. Let's see what this prototype can really do." The two ships moved closer. The Vortex fired its plasma cannons. The beams hit the blue shield and vanished without a scratch. The crew gasped. "Our weapons are useless," shouted one officer. The Oblivion did not respond at once. It stayed still as if waiting. Then suddenly a new weapon fired, a beam of pure energy that cut through the Vortex's shields and armor like a hot knife through butter. Explosions rocked the Vortex. The ship shook violently. Relzar ordered evasive maneuvers, but it was too late. The weapon struck again and again. Within minutes, the Vortex was a burning wreck drifting in space. Back on the Zentari command station, the council members watched in shock. The mighty Vortex had been destroyed by a single human ship. Vorak slammed his fist on the table. "This is not possible. How can one ship destroy our finest warcruiser? One of the younger council members whispered. Maybe we underestimated Earth, but Vorak shook his head. No, this is a trick. We will send more ships. We will destroy this oblivion and show the galaxy that Earth is weak. On Earth, Captain Malik watched the battle reports. They will send fleets next, she said. We must be ready. The Oblivion moved silently deeper into space toward the heart of the Zentari Empire. No words, no messages. Only a promise that Earth's secret weapon was ready to change the balance of power forever. The space around the Oblivion was quiet and deep. No one expected what would happen next. The Zentari ship, proud and strong, had been destroyed quickly. The Empire's leaders were shocked. Many could not believe that Earth's small warship had such power, but the humans did not celebrate. They knew this was only the beginning. Captain Malik sat in the control room, watching the stars on the screen. Her face was calm, but serious. She said, "This ship is not just a weapon. It is a message. We must be ready for what comes next." In the Zentari Empire, the news of the destroyed warcruiser spread like fire. Some leaders wanted to fight back right away. Others thought it was better to watch and wait. The Empire was large, but now it felt small and scared. Commander Relzar was alive, but his ship was lost. He was angry and confused. How can one ship do this? He asked his officers. We have many ships. Why did the Oblivion destroy us alone? The officers could only shake their heads. The answers were not clear. The Oblivion moved quietly, like a shadow. It did not send messages or threats. It simply went forward. The Zentari sent more ships to find the Oblivion. Fleets with many warships traveled through space to block its path. They hoped to trap it in their systems and show Earth they were still powerful. But the Oblivion was different. It moved fast and without noise. It did not follow normal paths. It used hidden routes that only Earth knew. When the Zentari ships found it, the Oblivion was waiting. It was like a silent hunter, watching and waiting. The Zentari tried to attack, with their strongest weapons. But the Oblivion's shield was strong. It was like a wall made of light and energy. The attacks did not even leave a mark. Then small ships came out from the Oblivion. These were not normal fighters. They were small drones controlled by a smart computer. They moved fast and precise. They did not just fight. They stopped Zentari ships before they could fire. The Zentari fleets were confused. Their weapons did not work. Their ships were falling one by one. No one could explain the power of the Oblivion. Back on Earth, scientists and leaders watched the battle carefully. They knew the risk. If the Empire found a way to fight back, Earth would be in danger again. Captain Malik gave orders. Keep calm. We are stronger than they think, but do not attack without reason. Let them see our power, and maybe they will stop. Many aliens in the Zentari Empire began to question their leaders. How could a small planet like Earth have such power? Was it fair? Was it safe? Rumors spread among the Zentari people. Some said Earth had strange allies or secret knowledge. Others thought Earth had changed in ways no one understood. The Zentari Emperor called a secret meeting with his generals. This warship is a challenge, he said. We cannot ignore it. But we must be smart. We will not lose the Empire because of pride. The generals discussed many plans. They wanted to find a weakness in the Oblivion. They sent spies and scientists to study Earth's technology. But no one could find anything. Meanwhile, the Oblivion continued its silent journey toward the center of the Empire. It did not seek to destroy everything. It only moved forward with one purpose: to warn and protect. At one point, the Oblivion passed near a small Zentari colony. The people there were afraid. They sent messages begging for help. The Oblivion stayed for a moment, but did not attack. Instead, it sent a message. We do not want your people hurt. Stop your war against Earth. The colony leaders were shocked. They had expected destruction, but instead they received a warning. Across the Empire, Fear grew. The idea of Earth's power was no longer a joke. It was real. Some Centauri soldiers began to refuse orders. They did not want to fight humans anymore. They whispered that maybe peace was better than war. But others wanted to fight harder. They saw Earth as a threat to their way of life. This division made the Empire weaker from inside. The Oblivion kept moving. It was not just a ship. It was a symbol of change. The galaxy was watching. The Centauri Empire faced a choice: to continue their old ways and risk destruction, or to listen to the warning and find peace. The silence around the Oblivion was heavy. No one knew what the next step would be. But one thing was certain: Earth's secret weapon had changed the game forever. The galaxy was changing. The once proud Centauri Empire, known for its power and control, was now filled with doubt and fear. The quiet warship from Earth, the Oblivion, had done something no one expected. It had shown that power was not just about size or numbers. Captain Malik sat quietly in the control room watching the screens. The ship moved deeper into the Centauri Empire, but there was no rush. The Oblivion was patient. It was like a slow river cutting through rock, steady and strong. Far away, the Centauri Emperor paced in his chamber. His face was tight with worry. "Our people are divided," he said softly to his advisors. "Some want peace. Some want to fight. This is not how an empire should be." One of his advisors, a wise elder named Vexar, spoke carefully. "Perhaps this is the chance we need. Earth's ship is not just a weapon. It is a sign. A chance for us to change before destruction comes." But others shook their heads. "We cannot bow to a small planet," said General Thal. "If we show weakness, our enemies will rise. We must fight back with full force." The Emperor sighed. "We will prepare, but we will wait. The Oblivion has not attacked. It is up to us to choose the path." Meanwhile, on Earth, Captain Malik received strange messages from unknown sources. These were not Centauri signals, but whispers from another place. A hidden force watching everything. The messages warned of a secret danger far greater than the Centauri. They spoke of ancient powers buried in the stars, waiting for the right moment to return. Malik's mind raced. Could Earth's real fight be just beginning? Back in the Centauri Empire, the people began to see changes. Markets were quieter. Ships that once filled the skies now stayed in ports. Soldiers talked in low voices about peace and war. One Centauri scientist named Lyra studied the technology of the Oblivion. She worked day and night, trying to find a secret that could help her people survive. But the more she learned, the more she realized the humans had something different. Their technology was not just machines. It was alive in a way she had never seen. The Oblivion's shield seemed to learn and change with every attack. Its weapons were precise but careful, not meant to destroy everything, only to stop the fight. Lyra sent a secret message to her sister in the outer colonies. "Earth's ship is not our enemy. It may be the key to our future." But the message was risky. If the wrong people found out, Lyra could lose everything. As the Oblivion moved closer to the Empire's center, the Centauri prepared their biggest fleet ever. Thousands of ships waited, ready to strike if ordered. Captain Malik knew the stakes. "We do not want a war," she said to her crew. "But if they choose to fight, we will protect our home." The crew was silent. They trusted her, but they knew the dangers. One night, while the Oblivion drifted through a quiet star system, the ship's sensors picked up an unusual signal. It was a call for help from a distant planet that once belonged to the Centauri but was now abandoned. Malik made a choice. "We will answer. This could be a chance to show we want peace." The crew prepared to land. The planet was dark and cold, with ruins of old cities. Signs of a lost civilization. On the ground they found survivors, Centauri refugees hiding from war and fear. They were weak but alive. The humans offered help, food, medicine, and hope. The refugees looked at the Oblivion not as an enemy but as a savior. News of this act spread quickly. Across the Empire, some Zentari began to question their leaders. Maybe the humans were not so different after all. But not everyone was happy. The war party saw this as a threat. They called the refugees traitors and warned that Earth was trying to take over. Tensions grew inside the Empire. The choice became clear: continue to fight or seek peace. The Oblivion stayed in orbit above the planet, silent but strong. It waited for the Empire's next move. The galaxy watched closely. The small planet called Earth had sent a message, not with weapons but with hope. And now the Zentari had to decide what kind of future they wanted. The galaxy seemed to hold its breath. The Oblivion stayed near the abandoned planet, its presence both a promise and a warning. Captain Malik looked out at the stars, her thoughts heavy. The Zentari Empire was changing, but the future was still unclear. Back in the Empire's capital, the Zentari Emperor sat quietly in his chamber. The news from the outer colonies disturbed him. More and more Zentari were questioning the old ways. They saw Earth's actions not as a threat, but as an opportunity. The Emperor wondered if his people were ready for change. In the shadows, the war party grew restless. They whispered that Earth's kindness was a trick, a way to weaken the Empire from inside. Their leader, General Tal, believed that only strength could save their people. But even some soldiers listened to the message of peace, creating a silent struggle within the ranks. On the Oblivion, Captain Malik held meetings with her crew. They discussed the strange signals from the galaxy's edge, messages from unknown worlds, warnings of something long forgotten awakening. The mystery grew heavier with every passing day. One evening, a scout ship returned with news. They had found an ancient structure buried beneath a distant moon. It was not Zentari, not human, but something older. The crew was fascinated and cautious. Could this be the key to the galaxy's hidden history, or a danger waiting to be unleashed? Malik decided to send a small team to explore. They landed under the cold light of distant stars, stepping into silence that had lasted for centuries. Inside the structure, strange symbols glowed faintly on the walls. The air was thick with secrets. As the team moved deeper, the ship's systems suddenly pulsed with energy. It was as if the structure was waking up, responding to their presence. The explorers found a device, ancient and powerful, humming quietly, beneath layers of dust. Back on the Oblivion, the ship's AI began to study the device. It was unlike anything seen before. The power inside was immense but contained, waiting for a trigger. Malik understood the risk. This discovery could change everything. Meanwhile, the Zentari Empire was falling into deeper unrest. Cities once full of life grew quiet. People whispered of change and fear, hope and doubt. The Empire's once proud fleets now faced a divided command. Some wanted to fight, others wanted peace. In a secret meeting, the Emperor spoke with his closest advisors. This discovery from Earth, this act of peace, has shaken us all, he said. We must find a way to survive without destroying ourselves. But the war party refused to give up. They believed that showing weakness would bring ruin. If we do not act now, warned General Thal, our empire will crumble like dust in the wind. The Emperor was silent. The choice was his, but the future belonged to all Zentari. On the Oblivion, the discovery of the ancient device brought a new hope and new questions. What was its purpose? Could it protect the galaxy, or would it bring new danger? Malik knew they must be careful. The past could not be forgotten, but it could also not control their future. As days passed, the Oblivion's crew worked to unlock the device's secrets. Every step forward revealed new mysteries about the galaxy's long history. The humans and their Zentari allies began to see that their fates were linked, in ways none of them had imagined. The silent war between peace and power was no longer just about Earth and the Zentari. It was about the future of all life in the stars. With every quiet moment, the galaxy's old stories stirred and the new ones were just beginning to be written. The galaxy was in a quiet but tense moment. The Oblivion floated near the edge of the ancient ruins, its lights glowing softly in the dark space. Captain Malik felt the weight of every decision on her shoulders. The discovery of the ancient device had changed everything. It was no longer just a warship. It was a key to a future that nobody could predict. Far away, the Zentari Empire was divided more than ever. The Emperor faced a choice that could either save or destroy his people. Some of his advisors urged caution, hoping to find a peaceful path. Others, led by General Thal, called for strength and preparation, warning that any sign of weakness could bring disaster. On the Oblivion, Malik met with her trusted officers. They spoke in low voices about the strange signals coming from the device. The ancient machine seemed to be more than just technology. It held knowledge, maybe even power, from a time before the Zentari or humans existed. The crew wondered if this was a chance to stop the cycle of fear and conflict that had ruled the stars for so long. As the ship's scientists worked to understand the device, they found it was connected to a network spread across the galaxy. It was like a hidden web of energy and information, left behind by an unknown civilization. The device could unlock secrets that might help all species live better, or it might bring dangers that no one was ready for. Meanwhile, the Zentari people were restless. Stories about the humans' kindness and the ancient device spread quickly. Many began to believe that the old ways of war and conquest were not the answer. They whispered about peace, about a new future where species could work together instead of fighting. But fear was still strong. The war party grew louder, warning that trusting Earth was a mistake. They said the humans wanted to control the galaxy, to take the Empire's place. These words made some Zentari doubt their leaders, creating tensions that spread like wildfire. In secret, the Emperor sent envoys to meet with Earth's leaders. The meeting was cautious but hopeful. Both sides knew the importance of this moment. They talked about the possibility of alliance, about sharing knowledge and resources to protect their homes from threats unknown. Captain Malik listened carefully. She knew that trust was fragile, but it was the only way forward. The Oblivion had shown power, but it was peace and understanding that might save the future. Back on the ancient moon, the scientists discovered that the device could send messages across the galaxy. It was a beacon, waiting to be activated. But activating it would change everything. It could alert others, ancient beings long hidden in the stars, that the galaxy was waking. Malik faced a choice. Should they activate the device and risk unknown consequences, or keep its secrets hidden? The crew looked to her for guidance, trusting her judgment. The moment was tense. The galaxy held its breath once again. Meanwhile, in the Zentari Empire, the people watched and waited. They saw the change in their leaders, the growing hope and fear. Some began to dream of a new era, one where different species could share the stars without fear or war. The war party prepared their fleets, but many soldiers hesitated. They did not want to fight an enemy who showed such care and power without violence. The Oblivion was no longer just a ship of war. It was a symbol of choice, a chance to break the cycle. Captain Malik made her decision. She ordered the device activated, sending a pulse of light and energy across the galaxy. The signal was a call for peace, a message to all who listened that a new future was possible. As the light spread through space, unknown eyes turned toward the stars. The galaxy's oldest secrets began to stir, and the path ahead was uncertain, but hope had been sent, and with hope, anything was possible. The galaxy shifted in ways no one could have imagined. The pulse sent from the ancient device aboard the Oblivion spread quietly, touching distant stars and forgotten worlds. It was more than a message, it was a spark of change. Captain Malik watched the calm stars from the bridge, feeling the weight of the moment. This was the turning point, the moment where old fears might finally give way to new hope. Back in the Zentari Empire, the signal stirred mixed feelings. Some saw it as a sign of unity, a call to leave behind the struggles of the past. Others, especially those who clung to old power, feared it was a threat to their control. The Emperor remained thoughtful, realizing the choice was no longer just about war or peace. It was about the future of his people, and the future of the entire galaxy. The war party grew restless. They knew the device's activation could not be ignored. Secret meetings were held in the Empire's darkest corners, plans whispered in shadows. But even some within their ranks questioned if fighting was truly the answer. On the Oblivion, Malik received unexpected transmissions. They were from distant civilizations, some unknown, some long thought lost. These messages carried greetings, offers of friendship, and warnings. The galaxy was waking up, responding to the pulse. Malik gathered her crew. "We have opened a door," she said softly. "Behind it is a path we must choose carefully. It will not be easy, but it is the chance to build something new." The crew nodded, feeling the gravity of their role. They were no longer just explorers or warriors. They were ambassadors of a future yet to be written. The ancient device began to reveal more secrets. It held maps, histories, and knowledge of a civilization that once connected all the stars. This network of life and light had been lost for ages. Now, it was waking again. The Zentari people, inspired by the message, started to change. Markets buzzed with new ideas. Artists and scholars spoke of unity. Families hoped for a time when their children would not know the fear of war. The Emperor addressed his people in a rare broadcast. His voice was steady, filled with both caution and hope. "We stand at a crossroads," he said. "The past shaped us, but it does not have to define us. Together, we can find a new way." The war party's influence began to fade. Without the support of the people, their plans lost power. Many soldiers chose to stand down, refusing to fight a war that no longer seemed right. In the far reaches of space, the pulse of the ancient device reached a dark, quiet place. Something stirred there, not with anger, but with curiosity. A presence watched the awakening galaxy, waiting to see if peace or conflict would come. Captain Malik knew this was only the beginning. The journey ahead would be full of challenges, mysteries, and choices. But she believed in the strength of hope, the power of understanding. The Oblivion turned toward new stars, ready to meet the future. Not as a weapon of war, but as a beacon of light. The galaxy was listening. The future was open. And with every step forward, a new story was born.